Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 film Abigail, and this is directed by Radio Silence and stars Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Alicia Weir and Catherine Newton. When a group of criminals kidnap a young girl for ransom, they never anticipated the horror they were in for when people are starting to be killed off one by one. Now quickly guys, just before I get into the review, I just want to say I'm sorry for the lack of uploads the last couple of weeks. I don't usually tend to do channel updates on movie reviews, but I think I owe it to you guys to let you know, for the couple of people who do care. I had a bit of a health issue and I suffer from health anxiety, which means I get one small little problem and I think it's the worst thing in the world. And I just couldn't get up for doing videos and stuff. I had a lot on my mind. I think the issue is all okay-ish now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, but that is the reason why I couldn't really get up for the reviews or anything. And I hope to be back from now uploading regular content. So I do apologize for that. I just thought I'd let you guys know where I've been for the past couple of weeks. So let's just get into my thoughts on Abigail. And this, of course, is a brand new vampire flick. I feel like we don't get these too often these days compared to what we did about 10 years ago, and especially in the 80s and stuff. But this one isn't just any vampire flick. This is about a ballerina vampire.
We kidnapped a fucking vampire. A ballerina vampire.
I was quite excited going into this one. When seeing the trailer, I thought it was one of the best horror movie trailers I've seen this year. It's directed by Radio Silence, who of course did Ready or Not, which I really liked, and the two Scream movies, the two latest ones, which I enjoyed. And of course, this is a new twist on the vampire subgenre, really, with this little girl who's going around taking people out, basically. So yeah, this one felt right up my avenue. But one of the best things about Abigail is actually the bunch of characters that we are involved with here. Each one of them felt a little bit unique and brought something different to the movie. And I like when movies, like I said this in my Frontiers review, I like it when movies surround itself and have the main characters as sort of antagonists, if you like, criminals, villains. And these aren't the worst villains in the world or anything, but they're just petty criminals. So they're not exactly your usual hero or good protagonist that you're getting behind, that you usually follow in movies. These people are sort of low lives, really, and I like when movies do that. They switch it up a little bit and you don't quite know whether to get behind them or not, and you need to delve a little bit further into their personalities to truly make your mind up about them. And Dan Stevens here was the absolute standout of this movie. I haven't seen him in too many things, I'm not going to lie. I've still yet to see The Guest. I've heard that movie is great. But he just stole every single scene that he was in. He had such a powerful line delivery. He didn't want to be fucked about by anyone. He talked down to people. He wanted people to know that he was in charge. And he brought a little bit of black comedy to his one-liners and stuff. And they felt like they were pulled right out the 80s at times. But he was just a joy to behold throughout this movie. Like, when he wasn't in the film, I was kind of like, oh, can we just see Dan Stevens again? He really just felt like the world's most likable asshole.
All right, let's go kill us a fucking vampire.
And Melissa Barrera does a great job in the central role here as the leading actress of this movie, something she's done quite a few times. I've really enjoyed Melissa in a lot of films I've seen her in. The two Scream movies, of course. In The Heights, I thought she was great in that. And I think she is a very talented actress. Now, she is the character who the movie wants you to get behind more than anyone. She's got a little bit of a backstory, a little bit of a motivation for doing what she's doing, even though she is a little bit of an arsehole, of course. But the movie sort of lets you know why she is doing this. And she is the one you want to get out of this situation. And I know that can be a little bit cliche where they have a villain and they sort of give them a backstory to make it out that they're not too bad of a person, kind of like Disney does all the time. But I feel like you've got to have that with at least one of the characters when you're surrounding your movie with a group of criminals or villains, basically. And the situation we want here to get out of course, is involving this little bastard called Abigail. I know I shouldn't really say that about a 12-year-old girl, but my God, she is such a creative movie monster that Radio Silence have brought to the screen here, and she is just going around ripping people's throats apart. Alicia Weir really got into this role, I thought. She was a brilliant young actress. I think the days of young actresses being annoying and stuff are gone now. There are so many talented ones, and she puts on a display here as this real violent-ass vampire just going around causing carnage. It was always fun to see her go from throat to throat, just popping blood all over the screen. And I really loved all these signature ballerina moves that she was coming out with. Like, she was taking people out using the ballerina moves and stuff. And I laughed my ass off a couple of times here when she'd take someone out and she'd do a little significant dance move, or like, a closing dance movement that it'd be like a goal celebration if a football player scored. Put it that way, man. I just thought that was a great little touch. I do think there's a fine blend between horror and comedy here. Sometimes it's hard to balance that, but I think Abigail does it quite well. There are some horrific scenes in this movie, of course, but it's always fun. There's always an entertaining vibe here with the dialogue, the comedic black comedy. You're kind of laughing your ass off in moments, and then the next minute you're like, holy shit, look at that. So it never forgets that it's a horror movie whilst delivering the fun throughout. But what I did appreciate about Abigail, there was a little Mafia Crime backstory going on here that we just hear in the background about some characters and who this young girl might be related to. And I thought that elevated it a little bit, because you were always intrigued as to what was going to happen with that, where that was going to lead to towards the end of the movie. And I just thought that was a nice little touch as well there. Like I said, there's plenty of gore on offer here, and you can just tell that the directors of Ready or Not made this movie. There are some very reminiscent moments in this film that happen in that movie. And yes, if you remember Ready or Not, there's quite a bit of blood in that. And it's no different here. And I do want to say there was some little fun twists and turns thrown into the story here in the back end half of the film, or the second half of the film, where characters go down certain paths or certain things happen to them that you don't quite expect, and it came from left field, and the rug is sort of pulled from underneath you a little bit there, and I appreciated that. My biggest problem with it is that it's done it one too many times in the third act. Like, it had this gimmick, well, not this gimmick, but this clever touch, but they overused it, and that is not really a good thing when you're noticing it happening too many times. And as much fun as I was having with this film, I kept thinking, okay, you've done that once or twice now, can we kind of just get to the end of the movie? It kind of didn't know how to sort of end all of them twists and turns, and kind of just kept doing it one too many times. Also, at one point of this movie, there's this big exposition dump about all of the characters in this movie who've kidnapped this young girl. And we learn about each one of them in this one scene. And I thought that was kind of cool, going through all the characters' backgrounds and stuff. However, it kind of happens again about 30 or 40 minutes later at one point. And I'm like, have we just done this? It felt very much the same sort of scene. And it was very, very noticeable to me, and I just thought we could have maybe cut that. Do we have to know everything about these characters? Maybe they should be telling us on screen as the movie goes on more about their personalities and stuff, even though I thought they were great characters. Do we really need another big exposition dump, towards the halfway point? I don't think so. Now, I did have a lot of fun with this movie, guys. I just wasn't on the whole bandwagon of this being one of the greatest vampire flicks ever made, or one of the greatest horror movies of the year or anything. It may well turn out to be that way, because it's ranked quite highly at the minute, but I don't feel like this is one of those standout movies. However, it is a fun time. It's something you can definitely expect from what Radio Silence have offered before, and, just go into it and have fun. It's an entertaining popcorn vampire flick. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Abigail a 7.5 out of 10. My biggest summary of this film is, it's a lot of fun. Okay, guys, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Abigail is that Alicia Weir actually came out with a lot more dance moves than the Radio Silence guys actually anticipated. And when she was doing all these moves while they were making the movie, they thought, you know what, we could throw a few more of these in here. And it wasn't fully intended to play on the ballerina aspect all that much. But when Alicia Weir showed what she was capable of, they decided to include more of it in the movie. So not just a good young actress, but she actually brought a lot more to the story. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. If you want more 2024 horror movie reviews, they will be in the link down below. I'm going to be reviewing Infested next, a movie about some spiders, so look out for that. And if you like horror, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. It really helped me out. What did you think of Abigail? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks so much guys, you take care, and I'll see you on the next video.